Thanks for tuning in again. In case you're new here, then I'm trying to make this ocean-going design of a catamaran finally sail on oceans. I picked up the boat over a year ago, rotting in an anchorage, sinking from rainwater ingress, and it's been a heck of a lot of work to get to this point. The last few months I've actually been sailing in the North Sea, in the lakes here in the Netherlands, but from here on in I'm trying to get the boat ocean ready. The last weeks have been some really good progress, but also in the last video I have found that the dry rot fungus is really trying to destroy my boat. With just trying to keep this fungus at bay, I've decided to put it to the back of my mind a little bit and carry on forward with lots of important jobs, and this week was such a good step in the right direction. Making the boom, installing a windlass, chain locker, hopefully getting to the very bottom of the problem with one of my engines which keeps conking out and destroying its electrics, and a few other little things as well. So I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for watching. In the last episode I was almost crying about this fungus which has been growing, but yeah, I've treated it with acid now, and I just have to crack on with the jobs on the list. So making a boom is a big one, so it's such a nice evening in October. I think the summer was a little bit late arriving, and it looks like it's a little bit late leaving as well, which is really nice. I've just had the mainsail up, which feels super nice to be pulling ropes again, just to measure exactly how long the foot of the sail is. It's 4 meters and 40, which obviously makes it a little bit difficult finding a boom, because that's it's a very long boom actually. The Halberg Rassi over there looks like it's got an even shorter one. I am going to make it, I think, so I'm going to go to the wood shop and hopefully find a long enough plank. Hopefully tomorrow I can pick up a piece of wood. It's a bit difficult transporting pieces of wood, but just before it gets super wintry, it would be nice to get it impregnated and start working on this boom. Alright, this is my piece. 4.8 meters, and I'm gonna try and take it on my back, on my shoulder. Oh, so Hanneke, who basically designed this boat along with James Warham, she sent me drawings of how to make a boom myself, and she did suggest, you know, I can use pine. It's quite cheap, light, easy to work with wood. As long as I protect it with all the correct things, it should be alright. This is sort of like the base of the boom. I'm actually going to put some hardwood strips along the side, so it's sort of a T-section of a boom, just to give it more strength. I'll start working just on this central bit. I'm just going to shape it so that I can put a very deep penetrating impregnator onto it. Who needs a workbench when you've got a dodgy cockpit? So I have to say, this after deck that I built in the last episode is going to be super handy. I'm really glad I did it, because from here I can manage my reefs. It's much better than having a net. A nice platform, it's really good. And it feels very solid. I'm looking to penetrate deep into the wood. To do that, I've got this injector epoxy. So this one is it should be thinner, it should really soak into the wood nicely. So I'm just gonna mix it up and roll it on. I think I've put too much. I'll definitely be giving this a good mix because there's really quite a lot there. It didn't actually feel like it was absorbing the epoxy any more than sort of a regular epoxy. I'm not sure whether that's because of the cooler temperature, but yeah, I've really made sure to squeeze epoxy in every little bit, especially the end grains, and I just want to get this basic shape form. And I think the next thing that I'll work on the boom is a gooseneck fitting. I'll have a little shop online, see if there's any pre-made gooseneck joints, or if not I might have to get the welder out or do some metal work. And I've really enjoyed working on the wood. I really love planing and shaping and stuff. I think it's probably one of my favourite things. It just gets annoying when you have to use epoxy and fiberglass because that just is messy and awkward. But yeah, hopefully this little protective layer of epoxy will just give me a bit of extra time to work out the gooseneck fitting and everything, and then I can put the reefing points in and all that. It was really difficult to find a gooseneck here in the Netherlands. I've ordered this one off Jimmy Green. It's a universal one, so it should fit my mast profile. At least now I know what sort of fitting I need to put on the boom to make it fit. So I'm in between jobs now because I'm waiting for that gooseneck, waiting for my windlass to come. I'm just taking off the old relay which was blowing. This is the second relay that I've put on this engine and that's blown, and it of course blew at the most inconvenient time when we were trying to get off a sandbank, and I was eventually, to get back to the boatyard, starting the engine using a screwdriver. So I have to get to the bottom of the problem as to why it's blowing. I think it might be the wiring to the engine from the battery. Hopefully, if I change all the wires, change this, it got really rusty really quickly. This is an aftermarket one, something like 15 euros. The official Yamaha one's about 100 euros. So yeah, I'll take all the wires out. The response from the last video with the dry rot was really interesting. A lot of people divided. The most popular comment was to just sail the heck out of the boat. I really wish I could do that, and that's what I'm trying to do. But yeah, need to get these booms on and quite a lot of things. And the thing is, from where I am now, I have to go through the English Channel. That's actually worrying me more than anywhere else really at the moment, because there's a lot of races, standing waves in places, especially around the Channel Islands. So I need to make sure all my decks are good and my lashings and my rig and everything is solid for that. Then after that, well, getting from here to around the Mediterranean or Portugal, there's a lot of challenges. There's the Bay of Biscay, and also in Portugal, getting in and out of outlets. There's a lot of standing waves there, so I just really need to make sure everything's solid. And with the rot, I'm just going to keep an eye on it and see if it keeps migrating or not, and if I have to make a dramatic intervention. Even though the weather's been really nice lately, over the last few days, it's going to turn cold, and yeah, doing the work at this time of the year is not going to be that good. So hopefully before I leave next year, or when I actually get to Portugal and Spain, I'll do it then. This earth doesn't fit very well over there. Could be a problem with this earth connection, so I'll put a better end on, put it all back together and see if it charges at a normal rate. If not, I'll just change the wires.
Holy shit. 17. Okay, the battery's at 13.8. Is this battery okay? Before I change the wires, I want to do more troubleshooting just in case it's not the rectifier on the outboard that's making it overcharge and potentially blowing this relay. So I've just wired up some wires, so a nice short length to the outboard. If it works now, it's the wires. If not, then it's probably the rectifier or something else. I think 16 is a bit high for charging. I'll change the battery over, I'll try a new battery on it and then see. I'll check my other engine, see how much that charges. This newer engine that I've got is spot on. It's been spot on the whole time. Starts up nicely and never had any problems with it. And yeah, I definitely regret buying these engines second hand, especially this port one. Although there's always the positive that you learn a lesson and you learn how to fix them a bit. I maybe saved myself about 3,000 euros on this engine. I've probably lost weeks and weeks and weeks of time. So with one of the batteries it charges over 17 volts, and then with the newer battery it charges around 16. I'm really struggling to find good information online about how much these should actually be charging. Obviously I'm just testing the voltage and not the amperage. From what I can see, something like between 14 or around 14.4 is kind of a safe charging level. It could be this rectifier here that's the problem. Getting it undone is pretty difficult. I've also noticed this is kind of obviously been set on fire at some point. This is a wire coming from the rectifier. I was just looking online at these and I don't know, I need to check the part number. There's a part number on it. It could be like 200 euros to replace it. This end on here is completely black.
Nothing. Nothing. Today I'm going to take a few minutes and walk you through the process to test a three-phase regulator rectifier. Be the output heading over. All right, we're going to start on the negative side and we're going to try to forward bias them across. So to do that, we're going to go in with the positive side of the volt-ohm meter, attach it to that point. Then we're going to use the negative side and we're going to touch each one and we should read around 0.5 volts.
0.58.
5.2, and then the last one up top.
0.55.
525. So they're letting current pass in the correct direction. Now let's try to reverse bias that same set, and we should be getting zeros across the board here. Nothing. Nothing. Now let's switch over to the positive side of the plug.
Hey, this one's...
And we're going to try to forward bias those by connecting the negative 0.527, 523, and the last one. Now, to make sure that they're actually stopping the flow, we'll put the positive line from the multimeter over here.
Over where? Yeah.
And try each one again. Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. Now we already...
Thank you very much, both parts, very informative. So one of the diodes in this is not working, this is broken. I'll just try and find one for a reasonable price. I think it's worth fixing. Since I've had that engine, it's blown 1 fuse and 2 relays, so I guess this is what's been doing it. 309 euros for a regulator rectifier. However, that's the Yamaha one. I can get the aftermarket ones, which is still not cheap, and I hope it's the right one. This number is right, but then these SH numbers, which are on the actual rectifier, these SH627, that doesn't quite match up. Most of it adds up. It's probably okay. It looks the same anyway.
Now I have a few things in the post and just waiting for them to arrive so I can crack on with those things. A job on the list is to replace all of my hanks from the metal ones to a Dyneema soft shackle hank. So obviously this is a soft shackle, and you need to do something slightly different with these ones so that the hank doesn't come off the sail. You need to basically just thread it through here, which creates a sort of infinity symbol. That's what you're looking for. So one end goes on your sail, one end on your stay. The difficult thing is actually getting the right size, because you don't want them too long so that the sail is far away from the stay. You don't want them too small that they're way too fiddly to put on. I've probably got about 9 or 10 hanks on my stay sail, which is obviously the smaller sail, and then probably about 20 on the Yankee. So I have 30 or so of these to make up. I've already made loads of wrong sized ones, which I'll use around the boat. The really difficult thing is getting them the exact same size, so we'll try and do that. A friend told me as well, it's always better to just buy a roll of something if you're going to be using it a lot. It works out cheaper. You get 20% off when you buy a roll. It's just nice to have a supply of it. I've got 3mm, but when you double it up, it becomes 6mm, so it's not so thin. I think this is an 850 kilogram breaking strain just in 3mm of rope, which is ridiculous. If anyone's looking for like a job to do over the winter or something to take up, a little hobby, then splicing Dyneema is really fun. It's super easy to work with because you can access the core really easily. If you can make your own rope shackles, it's really a fun thing to do when the weather's not too good. Let's try and film this. So you need to cut off a piece to make it. The longer you make it, the easier it is in the end. I'm going for like 60 centimeters to make essentially like a 12-13 centimeter shackle. Find the middle, mark off the top. I want to bury about 12 centimeters. So you need a D-splicer or a needle like this. This will pull the rope through. So you send this needle up from the 12 centimeter mark up to the center, up and through the middle, and you like that. You take your long end and you're going to pull it back through the cover, nick the end in there, pull it through, and that's your end loop. So that's your loop and it's all inside. That's now 6mm. Then you've got these two ends. You need to just put the cover through the core where it comes out. With these two ends you need to tie a diamond knot, which is complicated at first but easy once you've done it a load of times. Yeah, definitely don't use this video as a tutorial because I didn't show the knot very clearly, but yeah, you just Google how to tie a diamond knot and then it's just getting this knot essentially, once it's pulled tight, to be exactly the same as the other ones. If they're not the right length, then the hanks won't be holding the sail evenly. So I've got 10 pretty much the same length rope shackles. I just need to make these ones like this one. So cut the tails off and put a little pull tab on it. About 2.5 hours of work, something like that. Absolutely no idea how they got them on. I think I might need to cut them off. So I'm going to try and fit this stay sail onto the stay. I hope it fits, but I don't actually have a halyard for that, for the stay sail. I'm going to try and use the regular jib halyard and hope that that will pull it up, and then I need someone to winch me up and I need to put some sort of strapped block up there. Fingers crossed it fits. It's kind of tight, but it fits. Oh no, it doesn't. That's not good. I've just raised the sail to where it should be, and the stay is too short. I thought it could be because on the plans the forestay should be attached a little bit higher up, but I just used the existing stay sail attachment point to the mast, so not quite sure. Maybe I just have to put another forestay attachment on, which I can do just a bit further up the mast. It's just another job though, isn't it? But anyway, the hanks make the sail slide up super nicely.
started with a very fine mist of rain. I've made a promise to myself to not complain about the weather this whole winter. I put myself in this situation. Can't be moaning all the time. So weather positivity and work positivity. Alright, I'll get this done. Moving swiftly on. Oh, so this has been sat out in the rain. This is my Windlass. It's a very small one. I got this off the website Marketplaats here in the Netherlands. It's kind of like eBay. It actually cost me 100. A friend sent me the idea, and what he said, a good thing about this one is that you can winch it up super quick. The regular windlasses are very slow. Obviously the downside is you can't get as much power on it, but you can go faster. It's Simpson and Lawrence. I don't know if that means anything to anyone. It sounds pretty swanky. Made in the UK, like most good boating stuff. It looks like this is where roughly the placement's going to be. The chain just sort of touches here, but I need to put some sort of roller there maybe. I need to build a chain locker under these planks. I'll take these off, see what it is like underneath, and MacGyver a chain locker. Oh yeah. I really need a jigsaw. Just wanted to make a template because what I'm going to do is put planks across which will sit inside the beam, but it's going to be a very long job without a jigsaw, so I was just thinking then, and maybe because I'm uploading less to YouTube, I think I'm gonna probably do, well, we'll see, maybe do a couple of sponsored videos. I don't like doing them, but I need to at the moment. So yeah, look out for them, and also apologies in advance. So I caved and got a nice jigsaw. And I also treat myself just to take the edge off with a bit of kibbling, which is basically just like the fish from the fish and chips in the UK. You even have tartar sauce. Oh yeah. Before I do any more measuring and cutting, I'm going to put this rubber sticky stuff on the beam where the anchor basket will sit. Sailing on summer breeze. Oh, this is a posh one, this. Bam. Oh, this is gonna come in handy, definitely. So the idea is just, this is very MacGyver, but just create a shelf for the chain locker floor to sit on. feels very solid. This is definitely a bit of a Wildling classic, I think, because going back to my old bodgy ways, but it's definitely going to hold the weight of the chain, I think. I'll give it a try now. It's quite shallow as well, so hopefully it'll fit all the chain in as well. There's flipping loads of room. That's well good. Hey. Wow. When I was looking for the right chemicals to treat that dry rot, I sort of bought this out of desperation. This was from a local hardware shop. This is actually more for sort of wet rot, but it also impregnates the wood and protects it from, well, wet rot. So I was going to put epoxy in, but it's a bit of a pain mixing up epoxy and stuff, so I'll try it on these screw holes. Just plop a bit in. Let me know, do you think this is a replacement, a quick replacement for epoxy to treat wood? It would be so much easier. You just drop a bit of this on the wood. Right, so I don't even really fully know how this works yet. It's got some sort of lock on it. It actually falls in pretty good. This is pretty dodgy. Well, not dodgy, just a little bit slapdash. But yeah, eventually what I want to do is redo the decks. So use the same wood, but just make everything nicer. Where I've got this chain locker, I'll actually have a little hatch which I can pull up rather than just manoeuvring this plank in and out every time. The main bits are there. Well, I pretty much need an anchor roller at the end of the beam. Yeah, I cut out an extra couple of slots, one for the rope which is wrapped around the beam, which holds the end of the chain so that doesn't just all spring out, and yeah, a rope for a spare hook. It feels pretty easy to pull up and drop down. It's pretty good. It's definitely a win. Definitely a win. So that's actually all of my footage. We're 100% up to date. I feel like I crammed quite a lot into this video. There was a lot of clips to edit, so if you appreciate the video, please leave me a like, leave me a comment, and subscribe if you're not already. It's completely free and it helps me a lot, so if you can do that, that would be amazing. Thank you very much. I was talking to a few sponsors, but I didn't manage to get anything booked. But in these longer evenings, I've been drawing and designing, so I've designed some merchandise and I've set up a new shop which you can see below the video. So if you want to get some merchandise, which also helps me, then you can do it. I think it's 25% off for the next 10 days or something, so it's probably not going to be as cheap as that for a while. It's sort of like a new shop opening deal. So, and of course, thank you so much to my patrons, my PayPalers, my coffeeers, super thankers on YouTube. I couldn't be doing this, and I certainly couldn't be paying for all this stuff without you guys. And yeah, just thank you so much. I will obviously post my update on Friday to see where I get to. I've got my gooseneck fitting through the post, so if the weather stays dry, then I'll crack on with that. And yeah, a few other little jobs, but I've just been enjoying not thinking about this and just cracking on with work. And yeah, it's just, the weather's just been so nice, and I think it's gonna, I have faith that it's gonna be nice and I can get more work done. So yeah, right, I'm gonna finish editing this video now. Thanks again for watching. Bye bye.